Paradigm Review Show, PXF, Mac the Critic, Gaz Mosh. Follow at Mosh Ninja 1, at Mac the Rebel PXR, at me. Good luck spelling my name. Mandalorian Season 2. Check out our Mandalorian Season 1 review. Beep boop there. And yeah, if you're keeping up by now, you know this has like been the only good Star Wars project like in years and mad long. Like we don't even acknowledge that new trilogy. That's horrid, you know what I'm saying? Unless you read like the video games and the comic books, you're probably happy, but this is like the only live action thing that I've liked in very long time. So we established everything you need to know in Season 1. Pedro Pascal is the man. There's some decent cameos here. We got our boy Bill Burr. Some good actor cameos in this show, and that continues in Season 2. They also get way better directors, which we're going to get to around. I believe that's episode 6, chapter. Did I just mess that up? What episode is that? 4, The Siege. The Tragedy, actually. I was right. Episode 6, The Tragedy, Fire. So we'll cover that when we get to then. And there's some new characters that are cool, and then there's some new characters that are meh, and we're going to get to that too. So, Chapter 9, aka Episode 1, The Marshal. Me, personally, started hot for me. I like it. I'm a Tim Oliphant fanboy, self-admittedly, so it was easy to win me along. I actually just saw him in Fargo last night, so I love the guy. I think everything that he does is epic. Was a big Justified fan until they got to like later seasons, which were just abhorrent. But before that, Tim Oliphant's the man. You might know him for the movie Hitman, and I'm way up there. I could give this episode a super high, solid rating, a 9 or a 10 for me, maybe 9.5. It starts hot for me. I like it. So I'll let you guys dive in, Mac, and then Gaz.
Well, I mean, I ain't gonna have much to say on that. I thought it did have a good start of the season right there. Even Tim Oliphant's cameo in there did help a lot. It brought more of the excitement in the story. So yeah, man. Obviously, for people that don't know how Season 1 ended and all that, man, Season 2 just pretty much like ante ups a bit from where the
big time
left off.
Big time.
This one goes on.
Gaz?
Yeah, I think it sets the scene for the remainder of the episodes that come in this season. It hooks you in. I enjoyed this season so much more than 1. There just was not as much filler. 1 had too much filler.
I agree.
Season 2, okay, has a little bit, but once it starts, it's like got this slow build up to set the scene, set the atmosphere, and then when things explode, as we'll get into, especially with some of the things that I wanted to see for a long time with Star Wars, the military tactics, for example. Yeah, man, total fire.
Yeah, a galactic empire with unlimited resources that isn't tactically organized doesn't really seem to make sense. So I just want to review Chapter 9 real quick. So basically, Tim Oliphant is the marshal of a town in Tatooine. The episode's called The Marshal. Tim Oliphant plays the marshal. He does a lot of Westerns. If you know Tim Oliphant, I referenced Justified earlier. So he fits in this universe perfect for me, given that what we covered in Season 1, it's a space Western. Oliphant's the man. Basically, Mando is looking for more Mandos, to make a long story short. And he hears that there's one in this basically uncharted territory in Tatooine that another character points out to him. So he goes to seek him out, and he finds there's this martial dude there, Tim Oliphant, who has Mandalorian armor, but he's actually not a Mandalorian. He has recovered the armor and is just using it for obvious the same reason everybody uses Mandalorian armor, right? Because it's the best armor in the galaxy. So it's not hard to figure out. If you're lost, just tune out and go to a SJW channel. There's a bunch of PG general rated Pixar stuff for you guys to pick up. This is a grindhouse anti SJW channel. So the Mandalorian is the lightest thing that we cover. Honestly, the rest of the stuff we do is crime and action and MMA. You know what I mean? So basically. There's a crate dragon attacking the town, and Tim Oliphant needs more firepower to take it out. Mando wants to commandeer the Marshal's armor. So he basically tells him, like, I just needed to kill the Krayt Dragon. If you help me do it, I'll give you the armor back. So they team up with a faction of Tusken Raiders at the end and have a giant battle with a Krayt Dragon, which is awesome, ridiculous. Like it took them how many movies? The first 3, then prequel 6, so 9. It took them 9 movies that hardly have like any battles or fighting, and we're not going to count any of those garbage ones from the last couple of movies to get to this. This first episode has a bigger battle than like those last 3 movies do, you know, and that's literally just all of these guys versus Krayt Dragon. So you see Mando go all out on it. How does he kill it? Doesn't he get swallowed by it and then blow his way out with a thermal detonator or something? I think he shoots his way out of the Krayt Dragon after like getting like on some. He uses the jetpack, I think, missile. Anyway, you guys leave it in the comments. Anyway, it's worth the run back. It's a great episode. So episode 2, chapter 10, the passenger. This is when he has to ferry the passenger with precious cargo on a risky journey. I think, Gaz, you're iffy on this one.
I hated this episode.
Me personally, like, I wanted to like it, but I can totally see why Gaz didn't like it. Like, so basically, he has the frog people, and she has her eggs in her basket. She's trying to get back to her husband to save their race. And Baby Yoda starts eating the frog. So, like, I think in honest trailers, he said she committed genocide. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, you talking about the one where he fights that
the spiders.
Yeah, the spiders. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing.
I didn't mind that too much.
Oh, it sucked, man.
Whoa.
It sucked.
Let's talk about it. This is exactly why I have you guys here, because I wanted to like the spider fight. Like I'm like this part is cool. But at the same time, I know what Gaz was talking about, and I hated that through line plot. So I'm like I want this spider fight to be cool, but there's something weird about this episode that I just don't like. So I'll let you guys take it from there. You guys can, Mac, you can battle Gaz on it. Tell Gaz why it's good.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's good. I'm not gonna say why
it's impossible.
Fight back, Mac.
I'm not saying it's the greatest like episode. You know what I mean, out of the whole season, but I'm just saying, like, to me, it just explores more of the wildlife of the galaxy and stuff.
Okay,
and all that.
That's a good reason.
That's what I liked.
And not to mention, like, the New Republic. You know what I mean? Like, people didn't know much about more about the New Republic. You know, until you saw the X-wing fighters there. You know, the red team.
What happened after they won? Like, yeah, I agree with that. But that's the end of it.
Yeah, now that now like they're policing the galaxy and all that, and just basically you know what I mean. And I mean, mostly what I found more entertaining was just like how he evaded the X-wing fighters and all that.
Yeah, that was a chase. I think it was a meteor. What do you call that? Like a I don't know, but the thing with the comets and that they were through the rocks, right?
So. That wasn't a bad dogfight.
It was an asteroid belt. It was an asteroid belt. Yeah.
But
but at the same time, I can understand. You know, they had its down points though. But I'm gonna let Gaz talk about it.
Yeah, guys.
Well, me being the eternally miserable member of Planet X Media, I've got to stick to the habit of a lifetime. Yeah, exactly. Spreading misery for everybody. I thought it sucked. I can see reasoning behind exploring the wildlife, and it's showing the New Republic. The kind of dogfight skirmish at the beginning, the asteroid belt stuff wasn't bad, but it just screamed of Disney filler to me, with having this stupid, cute, random fish kind of thing, which I just thought, lose that episode. It's subpar. I don't care. Not interested. The ice spiders, were cool enough, but they'd just been injected there to give a bit of action.
Because something had to happen. Because something had to happen, otherwise, because escorting that fish kind of creature throughout space was just so exciting and so thrilling. I just thought, man, I just want some Space Marines to come in and just kill them all. But I'm sure my 40k bias. It just felt completely filler and an unnecessary episode. They could have had something so much better shown the New Republic. Why he was evading them. Even if it's filler, have the guy go to some kind of mining colony or something, escorting, I don't know, someone like I'm thinking if they do this in season 2, or I think they did this, escorting someone who's maybe
wanted by the New Republic. That would have been better. I know it's not the most original, but rather than escorting this,
but there's a lot of directions they could have went.
Instead of this random fish creature. I was so glad that episode was over and done with. However, like I did say at the start of the review, the filler on this season is very minimal. So it was just that's one of the few low points of the season for me. And there's not many.
In defense of season 1, though, I do think like they have to market to that like 10 and under fan base, which is what the Disney Star Wars, business model is now, because like they didn't, the whole thing is Star Wars has to make money, right? And it's like they didn't know if it was going to be good yet or if we liked it yet. So it's like they're going to add all this story of his mystique and mythos to build up his plot and universe. And it's like they might not give you super war battles yet if they don't know if they should invest that kind of money into it, which is kind of funny when we get to the Robert Rodriguez episode. Like, that's Robert Rodriguez. Shouldn't you give him the highest budget? And instead they give him an 18-minute script. So, that's Star Wars for you. That's Disney for you. I agree with both points. I wanted to like this episode, but I hated that subplot that Gaz referred to. But I did like the ice spiders with Mac's point of showing you, more wildlife of the. It was almost like when Han parked the Falcon inside that asteroid in the first asteroid belt. What's that, Empire? And then when they flew out,
with that great big.
It was inside of him, and he tried to fight him.
Something like, I don't even know what the hell
it was like the Minox, so it was like another version of like an asteroid creature with the ice spiders, which is cool. I mean, I thought the ice looked fresh, and that big one at the end was crazy, and I do love that part with the how they found him, and he's like, "Hey, are you gonna fix my ship?" They'll be get out of here. They're like, "No, but we're gonna let you slide," and they just bounced on him. That was a funny ending, you know what I mean? So anyway, that episode is not. I agree with Gaz. It did lose steam after episode. Like when it starts with like Tim Oliphant fighting a crate dragon in episode 1. Like I'm fanboy like probably almost at a 10, if not 11. But my fanboyism slightly went down when they lost speed with this episode.
Yeah.
Let's do.
I'll say this though: if they would have put that in the beginning, though, I think it would have like lost. People would have lost a little interest in the season 2. So I think it was better to put it at least in the middle. So.
Yeah, I agree. All right, the Harris, Chapter 11, the Harris. Let's see. The Mandalorian braves high seas and meets unexpected allies. Let's talk about this one because this screams of SJWism. I like water planets in the Star Wars universe, but I don't love the Harris, so I'm going to let you guys go because I can't deal with this episode. Friggin'.
Look, man, if you're going to talk about Rosario Dawson's character, I didn't think she...
Nah, she's coming up later. This is the Harris. Do you know who the Harris is? You remember that? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want to tell Mac who it is, guys? I know you know who it is, guys.
My thoughts have escaped me.
Well, you're the one who watched it recently, Gas. so I'll let you start.
Unless neither of you can remember, I can go off my.
Maybe you can refresh my memory.
Why not? I want you to share the rage. So come on, Ross. Let's share the rage, and then we can add to it.
I guess this is why I'm the host of the show, because I'm the one who gets to do the part that nobody wants to do. Okay, the Harris is the female Mandalorian. What we explained to you guys in season 1, guys, is Mando's faction is that extremist religious sect.
Yeah, don't take off the masks.
His helmet, etc. These other factions of Mandos, the Mandalorians all have different factions like every other race. So these ones are basically like semi-neutral, I guess, bounty hunter ones, and the Harris is the female lead, which I gotta say, like, I do like the aesthetic of their armor, and that's about the only thing I like about these characters. I find them to be extreme filler. There was some decent battles. I think Mando was stuck in those water tanks or whatever, and he was about to get owned, and that's when they flew in with the jetpacks on the high seas and saved him. So it's like,
okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So there's it's like, again, it's the same thing of the last episode. It was like, this is not what I expected, but very soon this stabilizes pretty much probably on this next episode, and then I can pretty much nerd out and fanboy for the rest of this season. So go ahead.
I will say one thing. the actress who plays the Harrison, the leader of them.
Yeah.
She was in the noughties reboot of the classic Battlestar Galactica. She's appeared in Arrow. She's not a bad actress, actually.
Okay.
And Now We're Live. I forget her name.
I could probably pull it for you, but it would let's see. Is it no, that's Frog Lady. I don't know the character's name, so never mind. Sorry, guys. Anyway, it proves there's still way bigger Star Wars.
I didn't.
I'll say this
I
about
didn't
that
hate the episode.
I mean, no, you go ahead, Gaz.
I was going to say I didn't hate the episode. The action scenes were well done. It did remind me in the Clone Wars. You see the two sects, the ones that take off the helmets and then the ones that don't.
Mm-hmm.
So they were quite faithful to that. And I think it was just the scene where the flew up on the jetpacks onto the huge Imperial ship that's taken off, I believe. That was quite good. So it wasn't the worst. I didn't like spoiler alert, Sasha Banks is one of the other Mandalorians, or part of the Heres. I personally am not a fan of her as a wrestler anyway, and I didn't think she was that great in this season. Not that you really saw too much.
Probably way better than Cara Dune, though.
Yeah.
Got her! Anyway.
She wasn't bad at giving a minor part. Yeah. Her action scenes were decent enough. Yeah. But I see what you mean. It was a bit filler.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I say like if I had to dislike, well, I mean, I wouldn't say I totally dislike the episode though. I mean, I would say though it is like something that just I guess wanted to introduce a side character that you probably don't care too much about right now, but maybe later on.
Well, that's obviously what it is, but yeah. But like you said,
but like you said, VX, like it's like you said though, it's like learning about the other ways of how the Mandalorian pretty much lives now.
For sure.
Like
and I'm cool with that.
Without the mask now and all that.
I'm cool with that.
And you saw
good.
And we see later on, you know what I mean, how like that sort of like, you know, comes into play also with the main character soon. But
absolutely.
Yeah, man, I mean, but it didn't bother me too much, but at the same time, I guess it just was something that was unnecessary, or maybe something.
It was okay. It was just average. Like, when you start like that with Tim Oliphant, and basically like Max said, okay, you're introducing this character to me now, but there's nothing really going on because something big is gonna happen later, and I gotta know about her later, right? And I totally get Max's point there, but the problem is I'm watching it now. So if I don't care about her now, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get through the episode now. Anyway, let's go ahead.
Did you like, and we see this develop much more in the later episodes, but did you like the brief glimpse of the Mandalorians working together as a unit? I thought that was quite good.
That was the best part about it. That was the best part about it. And I think it could have been done probably a little bit better, but that was the best part about it. Good point, guys. All right, let's not spend too much time on average episodes. 4, Chapter 12, The Siege. The Mandalorian rejoins old allies for a new mission. This one is fresh. It's directed by Carl Weathers. I'm probably at around like an 8.5 on this or something. I'll let you boys break it down. Mando links up with Weathers and Gaz's favorite character, Cara Dune, and they do a siege.
Yeah, this was a cool one. I really enjoyed this episode. I loved the again, I'm going to fanboy out here. I'll probably keep repeating this, but I loved all the military tactics that were on display. The whole assault on the Imperial base, the fights inside, which were really good. I think that's the most we're going to see at the moment from kind of non-PG action scenes in Star Wars, even though this is on Disney, because they were pretty brutal, full on, as brutal as they can be within the target audience. And I liked how you saw Mando's close combat skills, him using his armory with the guys. I thought it was excellent, and it also gave you a hint on why the Empire, the Imperials, why they are after, Baby Yoda. So you get a little hint of that, especially with the science. I thought it was really cool. And when the spoilers alert, folks, when they're leaving the base and they're being pursued by the scout troopers and then TIE fighters, that whole action scene was awesome. It reminded me just like a war movie, or those old World War II movies where they're dropping bombs on dams and then they're being the bomber planes are being pursued by fighters. It reminded me of that. I thought it was pretty dope.
Refresh me. This is when they break Bill Burr out of the mining camp, and he's the driver. They use him to get inside them. Dude, this episode was actually pretty awesome. Like, I don't understand what's not to like about this.
Dude,
Mando kicks ass. Good?
No, I was about to say that's actually one of my favorite episodes right there.
When
they were on that convoy, correct?
Yeah. Like, Mando kicks ass.
I'm talking about the wrong episode. I've just realized.
Yeah. Mando.
Yeah, but this was dope.
I'm trying to. So Mando kicks ass. They get pursued by those like skiffed dudes. Right? Those guys are bounty hunters.
Pirate dudes, aren't they?
Yeah, like skiffed pirates, like a la Jabba's desert skiffed, and friggin'. They go in here, and we're going to do hella spoilers because this place is freaking nuts. They go in here, and Mando has to do the face scanner, but he can't even take off his damn helmet because of his religion. So he has to take it off like in a freaking military base surrounded by Imperial officers and play it cool. And the officer that calls him over is my man's Doomhead from 31, Mac. You spotted him? It's your boy, Richard Brake.
He was pretty solid.
Freaking ridiculous, freaking Imperial officer, one of the best ones. He's an amazing actor, guys. You know him from England.
I'll say this: one of my favorite scenes in that episode was definitely when all three of them sat down and had a conversation about an old Imperial battle that happened. And
that was awesome. Yeah,
that's just what I was going to bring up.
Bill Burr was a part of.
Yeah, that's all.
It was so Western-esque. Like, I loved it.
Dude,
yes.
I think this was an amazing use of Richard Brake. I can't even believe that Disney. Who directed this one? Weathers directed this one. Shout out to Weathers directing. Fire, dude's a monster. So he knew how to use Brake, and so he calls him over for a drink, and so. Friggin', he starts bragging about this genocide, and then who blasts him? Is it Burr or
it's Burr?
It was Burr, man. Burr
can't take it anymore. He snaps and freaking smokes Brake, and he's like, "Dude, you just shot a guy in the mess hall at an Imperial base, like pretty much out in the open." Friggin',
it's the Philly. It's the Philly.
Well, Trooper was like carrying his lunch tray, looking at that like.
Dude, so sick. So obviously they gotta like shoot their way out, and damn near, never mind. On the way in there, they had all those. What were the explosives? They had all the ordnance. You know what I mean? So that just made the whole fight freaking so nuts, man. These guys are nuts.
I love the.
Oh man, and also showing his background as a sharpshooter too, man. I like that sharpshooter.
Yeah, I was just coming to that. Yeah.
No, I was gonna mention just the sharpshooting scene and all that, but now go ahead, Gaz.
Yeah. Actually, guys, you know what? I think we are off that. I think that's chapter 50 in the Believer. So Gaz was right before. This is the ship one.
So I thought I was wrong. So I was right.
No, you were right. Anyway, we just gave you guys a sick breakdown of chapter 750 in the Believer. So we'll skip that when we get to it. Anyway, so this siege was the ship one. Yeah.
But saying that, I dropped a reference to all like World War II movies with the episode I've mentioned before this one. But but this still had the same vibe. There's an old World War II movie that's always on TV. I think it was Heroes of Telemark, maybe, where it's all about an assault on like a Nazi dam, possibly in Norway or somewhere. Hadn't seen it for a hella long time on
Hitler
TV.
Style imagery.
And that still reminded me the way they had all of the troops garrisoned in this base, the snipers taken out. When Bill Burr and Mando escaping, you've got Cara Dune and the other one sniping them. That was awesome. So that it still had that vibe. And Max Wright, just before Bilbo shoots that guy who was bragging about genocide, it's got that whole Western feel of like them sat around a table in this barn, and a guy, like almost like a Clint Eastwood-esque scene, stands up and just shoots at the guy.
And it's almost like a la Han and Greedo, you know what I mean?
Oh, heck yeah. So man, I thought it was fire. It really had that gritty vibe. It hooked you in, and it's showing you as part of the audience just how things are going to notch up. It's like teasing you. It's starting to notch up and notch up and notch up. And man, I thought the episode was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Yep. Yeah, it was epic as hell. So they had that. So basically, that one that Weathers directed, Mando teams up with Weathers, who's Grief Karga, and Cara Dune. Looks like Max having some technical difficulties.
I think the fish creatures maybe got him and wants to take him on vacation somewhere.
Possible, yeah. He might have got his phone might have been infected by ice spiders. So Gaz and I will go on to Chapter 13, The Jedi, which is Ashoka, played by Rosario Dawson. What the hell? Michael Biehn is Lang? I didn't know that. Anyway,
me either, man.
Michael Biehn is the man, so I'm going to have to... Apparently he's in there. I'm going to have to revisit that. The Mandalorian travels to a world ruled by a ruthless magistrate who has made a powerful enemy. He's looking for... He heard about a Jedi now, and he wants to bring Baby Yoda to the Jedi. That is his mission currently. So... I like the magistrate, but I don't know. My thoughts on this one is I like Ashoka. I like Rosario Dawson. However, I'm one of those people that just think they don't work together. And her character came out weird to me and just, I don't know, didn't really seem to fit. She does have, good sword play and good command of the Force, but I don't know. It's just something weird about it. I don't know if it's the costume. I'd probably have to rewatch it to exactly tell you what I didn't like, but there's some cool parts. I mean, she has some good fights and stuff, but again, it's like the Ice Spiders episode. It felt a little like I wanted to like it, but it felt a little wonky to me.
Well, let's be real. Even though I like this episode, it does feel like filler. To be honest, it feels like one of the filler eps. I did like the fact that you are seeing a Jedi operate not as a goody two shoes Jedi, more like a grey Jedi between light and dark. Very skilled. Decimated her enemies around her, had that dark edge, and that was nice to see. It was something that we've only previously seen in games and the books where you've got a Jedi very, very, very deadly, and it had that dark, gritty feel to me. So I like this world. I like the town where it's set. I like the planet. The planet's cool, for sure. And basically spoilers again, folks. I'll just say the magistrate kind of sends Mando to go and assassinate Ahsoka, but they actually team up together and take on the magistrate and her guards, and that whole final action scene is dope. It's really good.
Good.
So I guess my thoughts on her as a Jedi, I think because I've been away from Star Wars for so long, because it's largely sucked under Disney, I was just happy to see a good, powerful Jedi, and I thought,
that's a great point.
Awesome.
I agree with that point.
Be interesting.
But me, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm still like, something about it. Maybe she can grow on me. There's something about it I just don't like.
Well, at least it's better than Rey.
Well, I mean, come on. It's not to be ridiculous. Like, come on. We've got to have some kind of standard here. You know what I mean? Even if Disney's not going to have one. What was I going to say? Now, didn't the magistrate promise him she would give him the Mandalorian spear if he completed the mission? So that's the coolest thing about this whole thing is him getting those Mando relics and the spear. The spear is sick as hell. That was probably my favorite.
I like that, and I like the whole kind of Eastern philosophy and vibe with the magistrate as well. Even the way she used that spear before Mando got it, I thought that was pretty dope.
Hell yeah!
And we also find out. I won't reveal this, but we also find out Baby Yoda's name in this episode too.
Oh yeah, we do. Which nobody refers to it as, but still, he finally gets it. Oh, and they do some like force powers. Like she developing his force powers, and she shows Mando some ways that they test force skills and stuff like that. So, Let's see here. We're just going to try to remove Mac and Adam again because it just doesn't seem to be working for him. What else do we got? Let's go to my favorite episode. This is the one that I've been talking about since we reviewed season 1.
Robert Rodriguez app. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Hell to the hell yeah. So I'll try to make a little bit of filler to see if we can get Mac to load here because I would like to bring him in if he's able to figure it out. The Mandalorian and child travel to an ancient site. Man, I was crapping my pants in this episode. This was so sick. I give it this episode a 10. It's absolutely nuts. Spoiler alert. A couple spoilers. Number 1, Robert Rodriguez directed this episode. Robert Rodriguez is one of my favorite directors of all time. I think he's one of the best, probably of the Western genre. If you don't know who he is, he did the micro-budget indie film El Mariachi back in the day.
Which is fire.
Welcome back, Mac.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. You guys have bad weather out here, so maybe it's like interrupting the connections here.
It's okay, brother, but you made it back in time for the best episode ever, Chapter 14, The Tragedy, directed by Robert Rodriguez. So I know you're going to be able to bring
gas. What's your thought on the gas, huh?
No, just drop gas for the feed right now. I don't want to hear any gas from Robert Rodriguez. So we were saying he directed El Mariachi. He directed the Once Upon a Time in Mexico trilogy. On the Grindhouse movie, he directed the Planet Terror chapter, which was way better than the Tarantino part. So Rodriguez and Tarantino work like a lot together. They were pretty much like a duo at the time. You know what I mean? Desperado, things of that nature. You haven't seen Desperado.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Desperado, you could get off my channel right now. I really don't care if I lose views.
Yeah, it's a classic.
So, Tamura Morrison. Let's bring my favorite character back into Star Wars. Let's make Star Wars great again, a la Donald Trump, and let's bring back characters that we actually care about. So let's bring Boba Fett back into Star Wars because he has a solid 20-30 seconds in the original trilogy of movies and became the greatest character of all time just off his aesthetic. So let's bring Tamura Morrison in. He plays Jango Fett in the prequel movies, right? So if you guys if this is your first time watching Star Wars, you're on the wrong channel. But Boba Fett is a direct unaltered clone of Jango Fett. So when you see what he looks like, was that Clone Wars guys? Then you see his son is holding his helmet at the end when he gets his head iced off by Obi-Wan. Well, that's because his son's going to get his armor and become Boba Fett. So he's been trying to recover his armor, which is his dad's Jango's armor. He meets up with Mando, and they're at this ancient site where they put Baby Yoda on a freaking pedestal, which creates a force ritual, which puts him in a force field. And a bunch of crazy crap goes on in that time, and an Imperial unit attacks them. Boba Fett's here with the Slave One, and who's with him? Is that Ming-Na Wen that's with him, or I don't know, Cara Dune? What somebody else is with them, and Mando and Boba go completely ham and freaking torch the stormtroopers so hard it's absolutely bonkers. Boba goes all melee, completely beats the bag out of them like a freaking rock'em sock'em. It's absolutely nuts. Anyway, I just want to preface before I pass it off to my boys. John Favreau gave Robert Rodriguez, I think it was an 18 or 19-minute script for this episode. So let's see if we can check it's 32 minutes. So it's a short episode, right? Mostly all action because there was no dialogue on what he gave Robert Rodriguez. It was like a couple pages. You know what I mean? So Rodriguez is probably thinking, I'm Robert Rodriguez. What am I supposed to do with these couple chapters of material? So he's Robert Rodriguez. So he makes it all fighting, just a giant battle. Ridiculous. Anyway, guys, take it away. Give them your thoughts on the tragedy.
I'll let you go, Mackie.
No, man, I really did like this episode just because, it shows that even with a director like Robert Rodriguez and all that, he can still take something very little and make a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Same here. That's why I like it.
And besides, I don't think it really did hurt it anyway, just because he already knows the Star Wars mythos. And when you're able to use the characters and the Mandalorian, where the storyline has gone to and all that, I'm sure he pretty much reviewed all that. And was able to conjure this epic action sequences that we all love and all that, especially with the fight with the with Gaz's favorite freaking
the Dark Troopers.
The
walking vibrators. Yeah.
I don't know why Gaz doesn't like the Dark Troopers.
It's just the aesthetic of them. They just look like giant, like walking vibrators.
No way. The aesthetic of them is fresh. I mean, they definitely look like 40K Space Marine PGs. But that being said, that's the coolest thing.
Yeah, Gaz, come on. You know it. XCOM, baby. Yeah.
Friggin',
but seriously though, the Dark Troopers didn't even really hurt it too much, in my opinion, just based off the fact.
No way, they're badass. I love those end episodes when Mando fights them later on, dude. I thought
that's one of my favorite. That's my favorite.
And you gotta look at it like this too. Like they didn't want to lose like more Imperial resources, based off like having expendable stormtroopers getting who can't shoot for shit.
They got completely. I think Boba killed like 20 by himself.
Well, this is the thing I like about The Mandalorian is I was talking with VX about this, or with both of you actually the other week, is in The Mandalorian, both season 1 and 2, we see the stormtroopers as trained professional soldiers that can shoot. Because that's one thing I've never liked with Star Wars. I'm like, you've got stormtroopers that can't shoot for shit. And I'm like, these are trained professional soldiers. I'm like, come on, man. And before anybody gives me that, outside of this, it's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it can't be real. They can still have real world basis in there. Come on, these are trained professional soldiers, and we see the elite spec ops from the Empire in The Mandalorian as well. We see all that rah-rah military stuff, which is awesome, especially when we get to the later episodes and the final episode, which actually was my favorite, which we'll get to.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, let's just so basically this is like summarized. So Boba's trying to get his armor back, and Mando is trying to do his thing. So they agree to make a pact and help each other. So like Boba is just slapping the ish out of people, and he gets onto the Imperial barge where they're keeping his armor. And like I don't know what point it is, he just blasts back in with his armor on and starts icing people. You don't even he just came out of nowhere, and so that was definitely like Robert Rodriguez creativity, liberty, you know what I mean, going ham. So the Dark Troopers come down and they capture Baby Yoda, and that's how they get him. And then basically Mando's just like, it is what it is, and Boba tells him like, no, part of the bargain was like, you help me get my armor back. He's like, the part of the bargain is like, I help you get your thing too. So he pretty much told him that like, he's not just gonna leave him hanging because he got his part. Like he assumes to hold him down and make it right, which is like why Boba Fett is the shit. He also has some lines about being neutral. They're like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I pledge allegiance to no one. Even though this is the guy who's Darth Vader's favorite bounty hunter. He's still just iced a whole Imperial unit like he was taking out the garbage. So you know what I mean? Pretty amazing. I love that episode. I think it's awesome. Yeah, it's short, but it's so awesome epic. There's like no filler. There's like no filler.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, okay, I've got this limited budget. I'm going to show you what I can do, and here you are. Boom.
Ridiculous. Like if they could bring in a Robert Rodriguez level director on every episode, I'm here for it. Get freaking Tarantino, get John Carpenter, get whoever. You know what I mean?
Lucky they didn't go grindhouse with it, man. Have blood splattered all over the freaking.
Oh man, that'd be
awesome. Know what? If it wasn't Disney Plus, dude, he would have did it. Like he would have had Boba Fett dropping F-bombs left and right. That would have been the Tarantino influence. You know what I mean? Next episode, let's say we're the Believer. To move against the Empire, the Mandalorian needs the help of an old enemy. So Boba's still around. Who is the old enemy? I give this one. Okay, so Burr is in this one. Yeah. Maybe is this the one we were talking about with the big base battle?
It was because they break him out. They don't break him out, but
they get him out. He's like Imperial prison. Yeah. They had him mining because he's like if you're Imperial and whatever he what's the word for it? I
thought Bill Burr was dope in a Mandalorian. I really liked him.
Yeah, he's dope. He's dope. Mac, you like Burr?
Hell yeah, man! Sure, Red Sox leader standing by.
We're all Bill Burr fanboys. I'm from Boston. I've seen him live stand up in Boston. I think I knew about Bill Burr way before he was acting. I was into his comedy. Dude is hilarious, talented actor as well. Bill Burr is all around solid with me. So this is the episode I think we broke down for you guys earlier, and we pretty much
we
told
already
you
talked about it.
Everything would happen. Yeah. Fire though. Like this is tragedy. And let me see who directed this one. Rick Famuyiwa. Let's see what he did. He did Dope. I don't really know anything this guy did, but good for you. Hey, bring that guy back. That guy
he shines, man.
I give this episode a solid 9. You know what I mean? And then we'll go back to Gaz's favorite one, and I'm gonna do my thing on this outro because all you guys are gonna splurt all over because of who comes out at the end, and it's cool, but it still kind of gives you that feeling of when they tell you like they're gonna start making Bruce Lee movies again, and Bruce Lee is gonna be a CGI computer, and you're kind of like, that's not cool though. You know what I mean? That's not Bruce Lee. That's just video game.
Okay.
I'm gonna get to it later. I'm gonna get to it later. So the Mandalorian and his allies attempt a daring rescue. Don't get me wrong though, this episode is fire because our boy, who's it, Moff Gideon. You know what I mean? So they've captured at a point. They've captured him. We'll work into it. Oh, they got my boy listed on there. So we're gonna talk about how they do it. Crazy-ish. They have what the Harris helping them because she wants to recover the relic that me and Gaz talked about last time, that legendary
Mandalorian dark saber,
Mando saber sword, dark saber. Yeah. So they pop off. Moff has it. They've captured Baby Yoda at this point. So the rebels, aka Mando and his friends, I don't even know if that's the rebels, but whatever, storm the ship, and they have some crazy wars. And I'm gonna highlight, before I go to you guys, I'm gonna highlight the part when they have a freaking giant detachment of dark troopers on board, which Gaz doesn't like, but I'm a huge dork fanboy for.
I just don't like the aesthetics, but it was a good scene.
One of them breaks through the freaking door when Mando tries to seal them in, and he's got to fight him one by one, and he absolutely pummels Mando, punches his face straight into the wall. Like, this is what I'm saying, like what Gaz has been saying, like this is an Imperial unit that one of those dark troopers could easily take out a detachment of rebels, you know what I mean? So Mando can only survive because he has almost unbreakable armor. And then he gets washed by the dark troopers, so that just shows you a Mandalorian showed you what was up. And he had to basically kill it with the spear because he couldn't beat it any other way, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys can take it from there.
Yeah, man. Made it all hard to kill opponent right there because after they took care of most of the Imperial troops and all, it just shows like Moff Gideon had to have like a backup plan for all that because in case like his new order couldn't fend off most of whoever was trying to bring him down. Mm-hmm. And obviously Mando being the biggest threat, and with Baby Yoda or Grogu or however people want to call him, was like his, one of the mission at hand for Moff Gideon, that he had to protect it at all costs. So the dark troops, I think, were necessary based on the fact that it was a more superior weapon. They were more superior weapon, more superior soldier.
Yeah.
Shows like a whole new droid that you came and freaking, that can be hard to defeat, obviously.
Yeah, he's super armored.
I get the design, ain't the best looking. It looks like, a bunch of Lego pieces attached together, put it together and all that.
Lego dildo.
I mean, I don't hate it though. I mean, I agree with you. It's not the best thing I've ever. It's not the Dune universe, right? I'm a Dune fanboy, but it's not terrible though. It's not the frog character, guys.
It's not terrible. Exactly, it's not terrible. My thing is like how
it's not terrible.
I did like the dark armor. I mean,
I like the dark armor. I like the durability. I like the power. I like how they showed you that you can't just shoot him with a couple laser pistols and he's going to completely fall to pieces like a stormtrooper. Like, you're going to have to fight. That's Big Gaz's point. So I also like how Moff Gideon is talking crap to them. They've captured an Imperial officer and he's like freaking disrespecting them the whole time. Like, he's not just going to be like one of those like just give up and surrender, like, oh, they got me, like da-da-da-da. He's still like, even though he's completely surrounded by enemies, like he's just like, I don't care, like he's like just gonna die for the Empire, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I love about that actor, So
pretty much,
man. You guys got anything else on this chapter 16, The Rescue, Gaz.
Yes, no.
I just thought this was awesome, man. I loved the whole assault on the ship. The way Mando and his allies and even Mandalorians, as I alluded to earlier, work together using the tactics. I love the whole military feel. The same from the stormtroopers. Okay, you could argue that some people might say they still took out a bit too easily, but this isn't your average like rebels, resistance, or whatever they are now. These are some like the best fighters in the galaxy, Mando. So essentially, it's like commandos assaulting the ship. If anybody played Star Wars Republic Commando way back in the day, it kind of reminded me of that game where the Republic commandos were working together in small units, taking out greater numbers. I loved it. It's what I wanted to see for a long time, all that rah-rah military stuff, man. The fights with the Dark Troopers, even though I don't like the aesthetics of them, not the worst, but those combat scenes were awesome.
Nuts.
Moff Gideon, you're totally right. It just wasn't intimidated. It was like, no, I'm not going to give up. And I liked, spoiler alert, folks, I liked the way he tried to get some rivalry between Mando and Harris, saying, right, you've got to get the dark saber by winning it in battle.
Yep. So you have to
that was good.
Yeah, so you have to defeat, in order to regain the Darksaber, as me and guys were saying before, you have to defeat its current owner. And basically, Harris went to recover it for her faction, and basically the only person, Mando was getting smoked by him with the Darksaber, right? And then the only way he could get him, I think, was the spear, right? Didn't he use use the spear against the Darksaber? So that's how he defeated him. And then he tried to give it to her, but she wouldn't take it. He's like, I didn't earn it, you know what I mean? Which was, and then as Gaz was saying, he tried to play them against each other.
It's an awesome it's an awesome episode. Apart from
this ending that I'm about to fucking roast.
Yeah, when you see it at first, and I knew it was going to be him. I knew it was going.
I knew it was. I saw anyway. Real quick before you do it, let me just say it's directed by Peyton Reed, and he directed Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought Ant-Man 1 was decent. Anyway, he did a sick job on this episode. I just want to highlight him. And Gaz?
Well, just say when you see who, I'm going to let you reveal the identity of said Jedi in a moment. And it's pretty badass. You even seen him use Force choke powers, you know,
before
which is dark.
His face,
which is a dark side power. So that was pretty cool.
Yep.
And then when you get the reveal, is just very anticlimactic. You can tell it's been just pretty much injected in there, and this is perfect that I hand it over to VX now, who can share his enthusiasm at this.
Here's my part of the show where like I get to do the dirty work of like what none of us want to talk about. So like, okay, I'm just gonna say, Mando defeated that one Dark Trooper. He was able to seal them in that hangar, and then there's like more reinforcements. The Empire dispatches more reinforcements. They have like, I don't know, what's it like 20 something, which is a serious amount of damage. So they're busting down the door. They're about to come get him. They only have 3, 4 guys, 5 guys, something like that. Not enough, you know. That'd be probably maybe take on 2, 3, and that would assume Mando's doing all the work with the spear. Maybe the Darksaber comes into play. Who knows? We'll find out season 3. So a dude in a dark cloak flies up, lands behind him. Green lightsaber. If you have watched Return of the Jedi, you should know which Jedi has a green lightsaber. Pretty much every time you see a Jedi, it's like always based on their color of their lightsaber. So like Obi-Wan's blue. The Anakin blue saber he gives to Luke originally, and then the final test of a Jedi Knight is to build your own lightsaber. So Luke builds the green basically after between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So you see a dude, black cloak, green lightsaber, flies up, starts icing dark troopers like he's fucking going to Domino's, you know what I mean? Delivery, smoking them, like Gaz said, slicing through them like a hot knife through butter, blowing them apart with force powers. Ridiculous battle, actually epic. And then I was kind of thinking, which one is it? It's definitely not Ashoka, you know what I mean? It's definitely not Anakin. He died like 35 years ago in the timeline. So on the IMDb, they have it credited as this man. Mark Hamill, the greatest actor in the Star Wars universe. And I don't know, I guess maybe like maybe he did the performance and then they CGI'd his face to make young Luke. And this is exactly what I don't like about shops and like Disney that are all about like, first of all, the de-aging technology is weird. Let's just say it. It didn't really work in The Irishman. I don't know if I've seen a movie yet that the de-aging technology works in. Maybe we just haven't got to it yet. Maybe it will work someday. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's other movies where it's better. Like I haven't seen Benjamin Button. I haven't really seen a lot of movies that experimented with that. I don't like how it looks. Luke is fire though. He's an epic character, but you already have a whole trilogy of him. So like you know, it's like the Godfather trilogy. You've already seen him go from low-level noob to neutral, almost Jedi in Empire Strikes Back to legendary Jedi and Knight in Return of the Jedi. So I don't know. I think they probably should have just used someone new. Kind of a weird ending but it's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's just a weird ending. And that's where I'm at. You guys can say what you think, you know, if you thought it was awesome or if you thought it was weird. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll say this much. Obviously you see they took a page from Rogue One with Princess Leia, you know what I mean? And using the CGI on her to make her look, you know, like how young she was in the first movie.
Oh, Leia, yeah.
Yeah, and this one obviously how he looked in Return of the Jedi. Like, in the end of the day, I get it. Yeah, the CGI don't look good, obviously. You know,
I don't really
but at the same time, I think that was probably the only way they can identify the age of Luke at that timeline. That it happened. And I would say, like, you know, maybe if it were another Jedi or whatever, you know, like a newcoming Jedi.
That's what I think.
Trained under Luke, then maybe it would even been a little better. But having it be in Luke, it didn't really bother me too much because he was trained under Yoda, and he feels like since.
Well, of course, it connects. Of course, it connects the story. But all I'm saying is, you know, like Max said, like, do you have another actor play Luke, like some younger kid that like looks similar to Hamill, or is Hamill too iconic of a character that if you play around with
he's so iconic to the point where it's like, you know, we need the actual Luke to be
has to be his face. You know? It has to be.
Yeah,
like changing Michael Corleone.
But you already know how Hamill feels about the Star Wars franchise at this point after the sequel trilogy, and it feels like it was like it wasn't gonna work. But I think he would have been better. Well, honestly, to tell y'all the truth, man, I'd rather see Hamill as a CGI ugly look in this one than seeing him in that sequel trilogy. Yeah,
I agree. I agree with you
totally.
I agree with Max's point.
Even if they would put him in that sequel trilogy, at least do it the right way, like he said, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I agree with Max's point. But what's the deal? Does Hamill get paid his royalties off this episode, or how does that work?
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, as far as I know, he does.
Okay.
R2 looked fire, but it's obviously a droid that's easy to do.
He was one of the best. He was better than anybody in that new trilogy.
And he was a droid.
Exactly.
I think one of the good. I won't get into like the kind of end credits scene in a moment, but I think the good thing about the Mandalorian is it feels a bit like course correction, like something that we just wanted from Star Wars. Like they've tried to give us just a decent story. Okay, do I think the Mandalorian's as good as everyone says? No, I don't, but it's still good.
I do. Yeah.
At least they've took time to develop it, give us some really awesome action scenes, shown us the military side in Star Wars, some people who aren't Jedis and Siths, which was good. We've previously seen that in the Clone Wars animated series, so it's good to see that in a live action sense. And it was just nice for people like me that had moved away from Star Wars because Disney just sucks, and I just thought, I've just no time for it anymore.
Me and Mac begged guys to get it back, so because
and it took you a long time. I was just like, no.
I mean, you knew we wouldn't co-sign it if we thought it was trash. I mean,
exactly, but this is real talk here, folks. Mac and VX are trying to get me to watch The Mandalorian for a long time. It's just, nah, I'm not interested. Star Wars,
I totally understand why. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I didn't understand where he was coming on from. Like, come on, guys, the last trilogy was really good. Like, what argument do I come to him with to convince? You know what I mean? Like, he knows me and Mac like westerns, and we like samurai, martial arts stuff, and you have all those kind of archetypal tropes in this mythos. I think I may have missed the end credit scene, Gaz. So that could be your final cherry on top.
Well, I think it does. I think it does happen. It's either, I'm sure it's after the credits, or is it just before the credits, where we see Boba Fett and Ming go to basically Jabba the Hutt's residence on Tatooine, and he
is that when the eyeball
guards
comes out of the gate, or
no? And Boba Fett sits on basically the throne that Jabba the Hutt was on, and it says the Book of Boba Fett coming soon.
Yes, I knew about the flyer of the Book of Boba Fett, but I didn't even know about that scene, so I obviously need to watch that episode. But that's freaking epic, dude. I'm a huge Boba Fett fanboy. That sounds awesome. So, anyway.
Exactly when I saw that, I thought, that's going to be awesome, because that's going to be like more Wild West badassery in space with a bounty hunter probably tracking down people who were wanting. It's Boba Fett, so I thought that's awesome.
You know what would be flawless is if they made Robert Rodriguez direct the whole season and made it R. That would make
this is how we'll sell it.
They're not gonna.
And to back VX. So if no one has seen El Mariachi, Desperado, any of those movies, I recommend you go and watch them. They're absolutely legendary.
Dust Till Dawn. He's got a lot of stuff.
Dude's think of it like it could be like El Mariachi or something in space, man.
It could be, but we'll see who they get for directors.
I know they couldn't do the violence, but without the blood,
they could do everything else without the blood, though. Weathers was good. That last episode to the Ant-Man director, he was good. Anyway, that's basically all I have on Mandalorian season 2, guys. I think it was amazing. I'll definitely be watching Mandalorian season 3. I think it was better than season 1, quite frankly, in my opinion.
Oh, hell yeah.
Robert Rodriguez, I crap my pants. When I heard like he was a guest director, I was seeing like the spoilers. Like, I could not wait to see what episode that was. Then, when it was the Boba Fett episode, dude, I got 5-6 pairs of pants back here with crap in them. It was ridiculous. So, anyway, that's...
Constipation solver, huh?
Yeah, big time. So that's all I got on Mando season 2. Paradigm Reviews, PXF, subscribe. Tomorrow morning, I'm live. Kara Mayer, reallyfamous.com. Go subscribe to her YouTube channel. She's got a podcast. We're doing Gomorrah Season 3. It's an Italian show, literally in Italian. There's not much coverage on YouTube about it. I think I might have one of the only reviews of Season 3 on my channel. Ridiculous show. It's epic. Season 4 and 5 are coming. There's a solo film of Gomorrah coming out. Look out for that. What do I have you guys back for next time? Dark Side of the Ring, Wolverine season 1 with
Wolverine. We've got Dark Side of the Ring on the way. Scorpion's Revenge from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, something actually good from Mortal Kombat.
And a list of so much stuff which we would
hopefully Swamp Thing when I could get you two fanboys on there. So guys, we're going to be doing hardcore stuff. Subscribe for action, crime, medieval, martial arts, and all the above grindhouse stuff. So that's it. Paradigm Reviews. We're out. Like, subscribe, share. Tune in next time.
Peace.
Shout out to Boba Fett and Robert Rodriguez.